Which team will be the last one standing? Who wins the Wooden Award? What's our thoughts on the NCAA's new rule? And who do we think claims the final spots in the NBA playoffs? Find out next. MCTV Sports 101 starts now. Welcome to MCTV Sports 101. I'm Kyle Stafford.
And I'm Billy Ingle.
Syracuse, Oklahoma, Villanova, and North Carolina are the final four teams standing in college basketball. And after Saturday, only two will be left. Billy, which teams do you like to make it to the championship game, and which team holds up the trophy on Monday night?
You know, I've said this since last week, and I've said it for weeks to come. The Oklahoma Sooners have got it on track
Gonna
right
ride
now.
Buddy.
I'm going to ride Buddy all the way, just as I have been since day one. And, you know, going on the other side of things, I think the Oklahoma's going to take care of business against Villanova. And now going on the other side of the ball, I think North Carolina, they've got an easy matchup against Syracuse. I mean, obviously, in the game, anything can happen. That's why you play the game. But I think North Carolina kind of lucked out here with this matchup.
I think so, too. I mean, Syracuse wasn't even supposed to be in the tournament, okay? And they've done a good job. Jim Boeheim is a great coach. He's done it for years.
Always.
The 16-point comeback win against Virginia, against that defense, that's
almost
pretty impressive.
Comical. How did they let that happen?
I mean, Malachi Richardson, man, he took over 21 of his 23 points in the second half to overcome the 16-point deficit. I think you're right. I think North Carolina, I think they roll through the game. I mean, I understand sometimes playing a team for the third time after you beat them twice, but it's different in an NCAA tournament. It's like the first time they played them. I think the intriguing matchup is Oklahoma and Villanova. I think those teams really compared to each other well. They did play earlier in the year at the Pearl Harbor Classic. Oh, you did win that by 23. So we'll see if we get a repeat performance. You made me a believer in Buddy Hield. Okay, I like Buddy Hield. I think he's a great scorer. I worry if he goes cold. Can OU win? I don't think he'll go cold because he hasn't gone cold all year. But I look at Villanova, they're a team that can shoot well. They didn't shoot well against Kansas, but they grinded out that win. They got the win. It ruined our chance for the rematch for the third time between Kansas and OU. I think OU barely gets by Villanova.
And see what happens
in there.
And I think you're right. Villanova, this isn't going to be an easy matchup for OU by any means. But see, with Villanova, I just don't think that they've got that. I mean, they have a lot of great team ball, and that wins a lot of games.
But they don't have a Buddy Hield.
But they don't have a Buddy Hield.
But they do have Archie Diacono.
They do have
Archie Diacono. He's
they
pretty
do
good.
have, and you know, and also they have 4 players right now in double-digit scoring, averaging throughout the NCAA playoff, through the tournament. And so, just like Kansas, and just like Kansas did last week, Kansas might fall, as will Villanova.
Yeah.
So you know, I just think that Oklahoma and Buddy Hield have got the best shot to win this all, and that's my pick.
I'm going with North Carolina, though. I'm going to throw my pick
Throw it out there.
That's
okay.
who I'm going with to win it all. North Carolina.
On Monday, the John R. Wooden Award All-American team was announced. Kyle, which of these All-Americans will take home the Wooden Award on April 8th?
Buddy Hield. I mean, I don't think it's a race anymore. I mean, let's face it, Denzel Valentine, he lost in the first round. I understand that's not supposed to go into the vote.
But it does.
But it does.
It does.
And, you know, you look at the other guys, Malcolm Brogdon, he's a great player. Tyler Ulis is a guy that was very overlooked. This dude, he can ball. Okay, he might be 5'9", but that dude can ball like it's like anybody else out there.
Oh, no, I completely agree with that. And just see, the thing is, you've got a lot of average players that are around all this, around the scene of forgetting the Wooden Award. But the one who just stands out is that man, as we said, Buddy Hield, averaging 25.4 points a game, almost 6 rebounds a game, and 2 assists per game. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He's shooting above 50% from the field, and he's shooting 47% from three-point range. I don't know what else you want the guy to do.
You think he's going to go number 1 in the draft?
I think he should. The attributes and talents are there, and I think he should with the work ethic that he has. But I just don't think he will, just because of his size and attributes that other players have.
I think he's better than Ben Simmons. I mean, I'm going to put that out there. I think Buddy Hield deserves to be number 1 pick. Will he be it? Well, only time will tell, I guess.
We'll see. The NCAA passed a new rule stating that the draft-eligible players can declare for the NBA draft without an agent and still be eligible to return to school if they are not satisfied with their draft stock. Players have 10 days after the NBA Combine, which takes place May 13th through 17th, to decide whether or not to stay in school or to go into the draft. Kyle, is this new rule good or bad for college basketball?
I think it could go both ways. I think it's good for the players who want to test that out and have the ability to come back to college. Because let's face it, there's a lot of guys that go out and they flame out in the NBA, and then they're left without really a truly education because they only went 1 year. I think it's bad for college coaches because it ruins the recruiting. Because if you're waiting until late May for these kids to decide if they want to come back or not, you're hurting your chances in getting a player. like the Dukes, the North Carolina. Well, North Carolina mostly had a lot of seniors this year, but the Dukes, especially Kentucky. I mean, all their draft-eligible players left. I mean, I expected Tyler Ulis and Jamal Murray to leave, but there's a lot of other guys like Chuck Diallo at Kansas. He averaged 7 minutes a game.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude, who is he? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think
And
he's.
see, I agree with you completely. Obviously, I think it can be good for college basketball. But what I'm worried and concerned with is that it's going to be abused by college players.
Yeah,
that these clearly you have college players out there that are more than capable and don't even need to go to college at all.
That's true.
Then there's the majority of college players that need that 4 years of development in college and that need that experience and even the education that they're not going to get, after they leave, because they're not going to get it free after they're stopped playing ball.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with some guys. I understand they get, some guys are in it for the money. They need to make. I mean, I understand it's a job. I mean, hey,
it
you
is.
tell me, hey, you want to make $5 million? Sure, I'll go play for $5 million to play the game I love.
I'll do
I might
anything
not
for
be as
$5
good.
million.
Okay, but look, I mean, these guys. A lot of them need more development. There's no LeBron James. There's no Kevin Durant. There's no Kevin Garnett or Paul Pierce waiting to come out of high school and they're ready to play. Okay, you can compare guys. Ben Simmons is not LeBron James.
No.
Brandon Ingram is not Kevin Durant. They might be built the same, but they're not those players.
They're not.
They need the development. And you look at the seniors. Buddy Hield. Was he a guy that you would have thought, oh, he's a first-round pick? When I'm watching him play at Oklahoma. I didn't think that last year when I watched him. I watched him this year. I think he's the number one pick in the draft because he's the best player available.
And because just like you said, he stayed in all 4 years. He's got that development, and he's learned how to become a man and enter himself into the NBA draft, where I think he'll do well.
And even some of the best NBA players went 4 years now. You talked about Michael Jordan. He went all 4 years.
It doesn't mean a thing.
It doesn't mean. With the NBA season in its final stretch, teams are fighting for playoff positioning. Billy, who locks up the final playoff spots in both conferences?
Well, I mean, if you're looking down towards the end of the list, Dallas in the West is having a hard time getting in there. A team that you mentioned before that you said they might fall out is Utah. But even then, Utah is playing pretty well right now. So I think I would like Dallas's chances to jump maybe Houston or even Portland over Utah, just the way they've been playing. I mean, come on, for God's sakes. They beat the Lakers by 48 points the other night. 48 points.
It's the Lakers.
Well, I mean,
a college team could beat the Lakers. They're the Lakers. I mean, normally you'd say the Lakers. You think in championship caliber. This team is they're awful. I mean,
but even the 76ers aren't getting beat.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, obviously you could put some of the blame on the Lakers, but you got to give credit where credit is due, and I'm giving that to Utah.
I like Utah. I think they're good enough defensively, but I looked at their schedule, man. I mean, they got to play Golden State, which they're going to play everybody because they're going for history. San Antonio, they'll probably sit everybody because Greg Popovich. He said, I got the second position locked up. That could be a win, but you got the Clippers and then Dallas, of course. They still got one more game against Dallas. It's tight in the West. That is the closest one out of all of them. I think Houston, they got lucky last night with the win in Cleveland. I mean, I think if LeBron plays, it's not close because Houston, I don't know what happened to Houston. You go from the Western Conference Finals to a team that's not even 500. That's ridiculous.
It's from the first to worst, case scenario, honestly, with Houston. And looking at them this year, it just seems that they're struggling. But I want to go
defend.
And they were supposed to have one of the best defenders in the league, and Dwight Howard. But obviously, that's not been shown to be proven true.
You think the Chicago Bulls will sneak in the East? No.
Not a chance.
No, I don't think so either. Well, that's our show for this week's edition of NCTV Sports 101. Join us next week for the latest big-name stories in sports. I'm Kyle Stafford.
And I'm Billy Ingle. Till next time.